I bet you thought I probably wasn't going to do a video today. Gary is home for the last weekend, maybe until December, and I was being a little selfish and wanted to spend time with him. Unfortunately, it's very difficult for his family when he works opposite me, but we'll get through. So today we are going to talk about something that you are going to want to give me all kinds of excuses on. And how many of you have ever thought about what you're stopping doing by using your excuses? Um, I can tell you that the last year and a half has probably been filled with a whole bunch of excuses for me, and I'm done. And I'm being very, very aware when I give excuses. And I hope that when you hear this message, that you stop giving yourself excuses and know that you can do it. So today we're going to talk about tithing. I know everybody's like, I don't have 10% to give away in my budget. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You're going to be blessed if you do. I know you're probably thinking I am crazy, but I'm not crazy. You reap what you sow. So the Bible tells us that we need to feed the widows, the orphans, and the sick, right? What the Bible tells us. Greatest success book that was ever written, first success book that was ever written. One of the laws is you feed the widow, the poor, and the children. So personally, I can tell you that when Gary and I first got married, neither one of us were tithing. And we had debt at the wazoo. He had his personal debt. I was coming out of a divorce. I had a house to get rid of. At the time, we started doing about 2 to 3%. We were working every overtime shift that he could get, and I was working two jobs. I was working 7 days a week, just to survive. And God, if I only would have known Danny Johnson then, just to survive. And we paid off a crap load of debt. 2 years after getting together, and I'm going to tell you, if you knew the amount of debt we had, nothing should have happened within that 2 years' time. We found a house that we loved, somehow got approved for just that loan amount. House got approved for just that amount. It was completely God, and it was completely that we were tithing. When I found Danny Johnson's book, and I'm going to tell you that if you're watching these classes and you have not downloaded this book for free yet, you're using excuses and your ego's getting in the way, and get your head out of your butt and download the book for free. When we found this book, we started doing 10%. No excuses, we're doing 10%. I'm going to tell you, I think we were doing 5 or 6% at the time. I tweaked our budget, said we're doing 10%. We are following every step that Danny Johnson told us to do. So when I was a kid, I got brought up with my parents tithing all the time. This was not a new concept to me. This was just the first time I was implementing it in my adult life. My father taught me the most amazing way to tithe. He did not just give it to the church. He did help the church. He wanted to pay the priest's salary and lights and heat, but he put it in a separate account. It was actually a checking account. He had a special checkbook, and all of us kids knew that was God's money. God's money was put aside into this account. They tithed 10% of everything that was ever made or given to them, and they helped whoever ran across their path. So it didn't matter if somebody was hungry, if they needed clothes, um, if they put a roof on somebody's house. I'm finding out all kinds of things that they have done, because in the Bible it says you do not take credit for what you do. It is God's money that you were giving. So my parents never told us what they did. I know that they have helped us personally. When we moved, my parents helped us because we were going to live in two separate places for a few months. They helped me with the rent. I know they've helped their other children. They've helped their grandchildren. And they always do it when they feel called. We do a very similar thing. We have a separate savings account. Wouldn't it be nice that when you go to the grocery store and there is a kid selling that $20 ticket to do some kind of thing that they really want to do, and that you don't even have to think about it. You don't have to think, oh, my budget doesn't allow it, I don't have that extra $20. You can just do it and know that I'm going to transfer it from our savings account of God's money into that account. Gary and I, we have helped people with food. We had a girl that we knew that her mom was sick with cancer. She was unable to get to her. I could totally relate that stress. At Christmas time, we sent her surprise money and said, buy an airline ticket. And she was able to take a last trip before her mom got really, really sick, and had a good trip. Her mom thanked us. She thanked us. That's not why we do it. That's God's money. We told her that. We don't need the praise. We don't need the thank you. We don't need the recognition. God told us to give this to you. We're glad you had a great trip. This is what we do. And if you are sitting there going, I'm not religious and this is bullcrap, you reap what you sow, whether those are Bible terms or not, karma, whatever you want to call it, whatever you do for others, you're going to get back tenfold, actually. Because I can tell you that when we started doing 10%, at some point I was unemployed and we still managed to do 10%. And we got here. We followed the yellow brick road. There was literally a yellow brick road that God was guiding our steps, and I have absolutely no doubt that it was God guiding our steps, and I have absolutely no doubt it's because we tithe. We were able to buy a house in a community for less than $300,000 that we were told that we were never going to be able to buy. We were able to sell our house for what we wanted when we were told by realtors the house wasn't worth that, and we did it. And we tithed all the way through, and we have been blessed double fold moving here and helping Tanner. So follow mentors. If you follow any great mentors and you really, really listen to them, I follow Darren Hardy. He is an entrepreneur. He does a thing every day in your email. I highly recommend you to find him if you are trying to find success mentors. And he will tell you the first lesson he learned in business was you do 10% to personal development, you do 10% to give to the poor. I don't care what you call it, whether it's tithing or you're giving to the poor or whatever. Watch these mentors, watch these successful people, and they're successful in part because they're giving to the poor. That is what we are instructed to do. So when you do your budget, I expect to see the first thing on your budget is God's money. First thing on my budget, God's money. I don't put it in savings. I don't put anything towards the bill. This is what Gary makes. This is what we put into God's money. So that is today's lesson. I have one more. We'll recap. We will kind of put it all together. And I might do an extra day to help people who do not have a budget. All I can say is if you have not downloaded this book for free, it's great that you're in this class. You are getting closer to being a 2%er, but this book is for free. So if you haven't downloaded it, you're not quite there yet. And you're not taking this quite seriously enough. And you're using excuses or you're just doing lip service. Wah, 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 wah. And if you really want to cut out of debt, then download the damn free book. Read it. Learn from somebody who's lived it and follows it and does it and is wealthy, because that's what you guys all want, right? You want to be debt free. So that is today's lesson. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk to you later.